student. So in the previous class we were talking about that of the fluid connective tissues. Fluid connective tissues which include the blood. And blood, basically we divide it into, or we can say the composition of the blood is blood plasma, RBCs, WBCs and that of the platelets. If we talk about the blood plasma, then blood plasma, you can say that most of the part of our blood is covered with that of a colorless liquid, and that is blood plasma. RBCs, which is also known as erythrocytes. It is the full name of the RBC is red blood cells, and you can understand that it is red because of the presence of a pigment, that is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin combined with the oxygen, and hence we can say that RBC used to carry the oxygen to the different parts of the body or different to the cells of the body. WBCs, which is also known as white blood cells or leukocyte, it help our body or it protect our body from the foreign material or from the antigens. We also studied that how RBCs are differ from that of the WBCs. Now today we will continue with the same topic, that is platelet, and later on we study about the lymphatic system. So now we will see the occurrence of the blood in our body. So student, blood, you know that the blood, it occurs in the blood vessels, especially that of the arteries, veins and that of the capillaries. Okay, artery is that which carry the oxygenated blood in our body, while that of the vein, it carry the deoxygenated blood, and the capillaries is the thin walled membrane, thin walled vessel which used to connect the artery and the vein together to each other. Okay, so one is there to carry the oxygenated blood, and it used to start from the heart. It used to come from the heart to the different parts of the body, and as blood consisting of oxygen, so oxygen will go to the cells of the body or of the each organ, and from there carbon dioxide enters in the blood. So now the blood, it become deoxygenated, and this deoxygenated blood will finally becomes a vein. We call it a veins. Okay, so this connection will take place with the help of the capillary. Okay, so vein, it carries the deoxygenated blood, and this artery, it carries the oxygen rich or oxygenated blood in it. Okay, so blood, it mainly present in the blood vessels, that is arteries, veins and capillaries, which are connected together, and they connect together to form a system, and that system is known as a circulatory system. Okay student, so we know that the blood circulation, it occurs with the help of the heart. Heart is there to purify the blood. Okay, but the arteries and the veins and the capillaries are the blood vessels which comes out from that of the heart and present to each and every portion of the body organ of our body, or we can say it spreads throughout the body. So arteries, veins and capillaries consisting of a blood, and it help in the circulation in the body. Okay, now the extensive branching network of the blood vessels, we can say it enable blood to reach to the every part of the body. So this arteries, veins and that of the capillaries, it help in circulating the blood to each and every part of the body. Now we will try to understand the different functions of the blood. So the first function is that it delivers O2 nutrients to all the body cells. So you know student that the arteries, it used to carry the oxygenated blood. So this oxygenated blood, it means the blood consisting of oxygen in it. So the basic function of the blood, that it help in transporting the oxygen to each and every body cells. Okay, or we can say that it help in making the oxygen to reach to the each cells of the body, where the oxidation of the food can take place easily. Okay, so blood is responsible for carrying, for transporting the oxygen to each body cells. Second one, not only to that of the oxygen, but it also help in transporting the waste product from the cells for elimination. Okay, so it help in transporting the waste product to that of the kidney, and from there it get eliminated outside. It also help in transporting the hormones. You know that students, we are consisting of a different glands, and these glands, they secretes the different hormone which help in regulating the body. It help in controlling the functions of our body. So we can say that these hormones which is released by that of the glands, blood it used to carry the hormones to the target area. So it help in transporting the hormones also. Then it help in maintaining the body temperature, as it help in distributing the heat to the every part. Okay, so it help in maintaining the body temperature. By this it can maintain the pH of the body also. Okay, it carries the buffer, so it help in maintaining the pH. It maintains the fluid volume, as well as you know that this blood platelets are there, and blood platelets which is present in that of the blood, it disintegrate at the site of injury, and it help in clotting of the blood. So it plays a very important role. Whenever you get a cut at a certain place, then you will see that blood starts coming outside. Okay, and you know that if there will be no clotting, then it will going to the blood will continuously comes outside, and it will be life threatening. Okay, so these blood platelets, it help in clotting that of the blood, and due to which loss of the blood will be prevented. Okay, so it help in preventing the blood loss, or we can say that it help in clotting of the blood. As you see that of the WBC, so WBC is there, which help in fighting the diseases, either by engulfing or by destroying the foreign bodies, or it help in producing the antitoxin, okay, which neutralizes the harmful effect of microorganisms or harmful effect of the germs. Okay, so by this we come to know the different functions of the blood. Okay, the major one, that these bloods, it help in transporting the nutrients, it help in transporting the hormones, as well as it help in transporting the vitamins to the tissues, and transport the excretory product to the tissues, to the liver and kidney. The RBCs are there. The RBCs, you know that the red blood cells consisting of a hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin help in carrying the oxygen to the different cells of the body, where the oxidation of the food can take place easily. Next one is white blood cells is the component. So you know that the white blood cells is there, which help in fighting the disease. Okay. Then blood platelets is there. Function of the blood platelets, that it help in clotting of the blood at the site of the injury. Okay, so these are the different functions of the blood. Now we will see the next one, and that is lymph. So lymph is what? It is a colorless fluid that is filtered out of the blood capillaries, since it is a part of the blood. So its composition is very much similar to the blood, except that the red blood corpuscles and some of the protein. So we can say that lymph, it does not have a color. It is a kind of a colorless fluid. And basically this lymph is formed when the blood it moves from that of the arteries to veins with the help of the blood capillaries. At that time, some of the fluid will get filtered off. okay, and that will enters into the lymphatic system, making the lymph node. Okay, so it enters into the lymph vessels, and you know that this lymph is coming from that of the blood, so we can say that the composition is very much similar to that of the blood. So you can see here, as the blood is moving from that of the artery and reaches to that of the capillary, from where this goes to that of the veins, you see that while going from that of the, the blood flows into that of the capillaries, here some of the interstitial fluid, it get outside, it comes outside from that of the blood capillaries, and it enters into that of the lymphatic vessels to form the lymph. Okay, so this is the lymph. Blood is coming from here, and the blood, as it enter into the capillary, some of the interstitial fluid is formed, and this interstitial fluid will enter into another kind of a vessel, and that is known as a lymph vessels. Although there are some of the interstitial fluid which comes out from the blood capillaries, it will return back to that of the blood again. Okay, while few of them will enter into the lymphatic vessels, okay, to form the lymph. Okay, so we can say that it is a part of the blood, and that's why the composition of the lymph is very much similar to that of the blood, except it does not have a red blood cells, and because of the absence of the red blood cells, the lymph color is colorless. Okay, because we know that the red blood cells is red in color. Okay, and since lymph does not consisting of RBCs in it, so we can say that this lymph it loses the red color. Okay, although there are some blood proteins are also absent in it. So red blood cells and blood proteins both are absent in that of the lymph. One thing is there which is present in abundance in that of the lymph, and that is white blood cells. Okay, so it consisting of a good amount of white blood cells. Now if we see that of the function of a lymphatic system, so the first function of a lymphatic system, that it help in transport the clean fluids back to the blood. So lymph, it transport the nutrient, it transport the that of the oxygen and glucose, which may have been filtered out of the blood capillaries. Okay, so while moving from that of the arteries to that of the vein, some of the nutrient may get out, it filters out from that of the capillaries. So lymph, it transport the nutrient back into the heart to recirculate in the body. Okay, so it help in transporting the clean fluids back to the blood. Then it drains excess fluid from that of the tissues. Okay, so it brings carbon dioxide and that of the nitrogenous waste also, and these nitrogenous waste and carbon dioxide from the tissue fluids, it help it to bring back to the fluid again. Okay, so basic function that it transport the nutrient, it transport the carbon dioxide and the other fluid back to the blood. Then the next one is it remove debris from the cells of the body. So since it consisting of a lot of a WBC, okay, so being loaded with the WBCs such as that of the lymphocyte, the lymph protects the body against infections. Okay, so it forms a immune system of the body. So we can say that lymph, it help in protecting the body from any kind of infection. So it help in removing the debris from the cells of the body, thus protecting the body, and thus it forms a defense or an immune system of the body. It help in transporting the fats from that of the digestive system. So this is the basic function of that of the digestive system. It help in transporting the nutrient which may filter out of the blood capillaries to the blood again. It also brings the carbon dioxide and the nitrogenous waste from the tissue fluid to the blood, as well as it help in forming a strong or a defense or a immune system of the body. Okay, so this is the function of a lymphatic system. Now we will see the last type of a tissue, and that is known as nervous tissue. So nervous tissue is what? It is a tissue which is specialized to transmit messages. Okay, so the basic function of these tissues, it help in transmitting the information, transmitting the messages within our body. Okay, so we can see that of the brain is there, or spinal cord. Okay, brain, spinal cord, and all the nerves which spreads throughout our body, they composed of our nervous tissues. Okay, so collectively these all nervous tissue forms the nervous system. Okay, which system is having that of the brain, spinal cord, and the other nerves also. And all the nerves, they are having the function of transmitting the information to the different parts of the body or to that of the brain. Okay, now see, nerve tissues, these nerve tissues, they basically consisting of a highly specialized unit cell is there, which we called as a nerve cell. And each nerve cell, we use another kind of a term for it, and that is known as neuron. Okay, so we can say that it consisting of a unit cell called nerve cells or that of neuron. Now neurons, they are having the ability to receive stimuli from outside or from within the body and conduct, or we can say it send the impulses to the different parts of the body. Okay, so basically the function of the neuron, it help in receiving the stimuli and response according to the information sent by that of the brain. So it help in receiving stimuli from the body, and it help in conducting or sending the signals to the different parts of the body. Now the impulse which is transported to that of by the help of the neuron, it travels from one neuron to the another neuron. So you see here, by this process they are able to transmit the information. First of all, they receive the stimuli from that of the from the brain, that how to respond, and that neuron or the nerve cell, it send the information to the different parts of the body, and while sending, it used to transport the information to one neuron which get transmitted to the other neuron. So we can say the transmission occur from one neuron to the other neuron. Okay, so this impulse, it travel from one neuron to the another neuron, and by this process the message can be transmitted to the different parts of the body. Now if we talk about the neuron, student, as you can see here, the neuron, it basically consisting of three parts. The first one is that of the cyton or the cell body. Okay, the cell body, we use the another term for it, and that is cyton. Then dendron is there, or we call it a dendrites. Okay, and axon. So these are the three different parts of the neuron. Now if we talk about that of the cell body or that of the cyton, so this cyton, you can see here, it mainly consisting of a nucleus in it. So central nucleus is present in that of the cell body, and not only the nucleus, but it also consisting of a cytoplasm in it. Okay, so it contains a nucleus, cytoplasm is there, and these cytoplasm consisting of a stained particles, and these stained particles, they are known as Nessels granules. Okay, so these are known as Nessels granules, and these granules or the stained particles which is present in that of the cytoplasm. These stained particles basically are the clumps of that of the ribosomes present in the cell body. So the first part is that of the cytone, which consisting of a nucleus as well as it consisting of a Nessels granules in the cytoplasm. Next one is that of the dendrites or dendrons. So these dendrons is a short processes which arises from that of the cell body, or which we can say that which arises from that of cytone. Okay, and these dendrons, actually this is the dendrons, and these dendrons, they further branches themselves into dendrites. Okay, so dendrons are there, which is a process which arises from that of the cell body, and finally it gets branches into dendrites. What is the basic function of a dendrite, students? That it used to carry the different information from different direction, from this direction, from this direction, and finally it help in taking all the information from different direction and throw it into that of the cell body, okay, or in that of the cytone. Then finally that of the axon is the third part. Axon is a single long cylinder process. You can see here axon, it arises from that of the cell body. It is a single and a long cylindrical process which is having a uniform diameter. Okay, and finally this axon at the terminal, axon terminal, you can see that it consisting of a different branches, so it forms the branching at the terminal. So we can say it is a long cylinder process which forms the fine branches terminally. Now each such twig like a branches of the axon end in a swollen structure like that of the synaptic knob or that of the button. So these buttons which basically present in that of the axons, it contain a different field vesicles are present in it, and that is mainly consisting of a neurotransmitter. So we can say the button, it consisting of a neurotransmitters filled vesicles. Okay, one of such neurotransmitter is that of the acetylcholine. Okay, so acetylcholine is a important neurotransmitter. It means when we talk about the neurotransmitter, student, it means that it is a kind of a substance which plays a very important role in transmission of the nerve impulses within that of the nervous system. Okay, so these axon, it consisting of a different kind of a neurotransmitter also, and these neurotransmitter, it used to carry the information. It help in transmission of the information into the nervous system. Okay, axon we also call as a nerve fiber. So you see the three parts. The first one is the cytone or the cell body consisting of the nucleus and cytoplasm. Then from this cytoplasm, a long process a short process arises, and finally it get branches into that of a dendrites, and axon is there, which is a long cylindrical process which comes out from that of the cytone itself, and these axons, it branches terminally, which we call as the axon terminal. Now the axons consisting of neurotransmitters also, and these neurotransmitters help in transmitting the nerve impulses. Okay, and we call axon as a nerve fiber. So these are the different parts of the nervous tissue in our body. Now we will go to the function of the nervous system. So the basic function of that of the nervous system, that it used to carry the impulses from one part, from one neuron to the another. So its function, sensory function is there, student. So to sense change in the internal and external environment through sensory receptor. So a sensory neuron is there which help in carrying this function. So it used to see the it is a kind of a receptors which is present in our sense organ, and it help in receiving the information from that of the sense organ. Basically this function is performed by that of the sensory neuron. Then from this sensory neuron which is present in the sense organ, it receives the information and finally it goes to that of the brain. Okay, so to analyze the sensory information, stored some aspect, and I make decision, interrogative function will carried out. Interrogative function, it means the information which is carried from that of the sensory neuron to there. What kind of a decision or what kind of appropriate behavior should be performed is performed by that of the interneurons or that of the association neurons. Finally, motor function is there. It responds to the stimuli by initiating action. Okay, so motor neuron, it tells that how to respond, how to behave to that of the stimuli. So at first our sensory neuron, it receives a change in the environment. We can say it is a kind of a stimuli, because you know the stimuli is the changes which are occurring to our surrounding. So if any kind of a change which occur in the internal or the external environment is received by the sensory neuron, finally it takes that things to the interneuron, and the associated neuron, they make decision regarding what kind of a behavior should be performed. Then finally the motor neuron, which is also known as the efferent neuron, it help in responding. It responds to the stimuli by initiating the action. Okay, so this is the basic function of the nervous system. In short, we can say that the impulses which is received by the help of the dendrites they receive the impulses, and the axon, they take the impulses away from the cell body and finally to that of the brain, and they respond according to the changes, okay, in the environment. So basically its function is how to respond to that of the stimuli. Now we will see the last topic, and that is the difference between that of the axon and dendrites. Okay, you know that student, the axon and that of a dendrite, both are the part of the nervous tissue, or both are the part of the neuron. So how they differ from each other? So axons, the basic function, the first function of the axon, that it takes information away from the cell body. Okay, while it means it carries impulses away from that of the cell body, while the dendrites, it carry impulses towards the cell body. You have seen the impulses, they are at the different direction, so it used to carry the information from the different direction, and finally it help in carrying the information to that of the cell body. While the axon, it used to carry the impulses from the cell body. It means it carry the impulses away from the cell body, while dendrite, it carry the impulses towards the cell body. Okay, so this is the first function. Next one is the smooth surface, and here it is the rough surface. Since axon does not consisting of a dendrites on it, and that's why the surface of axon is smooth, while that of a dendrites, its surface is rough due to the presence of a dendritic spines are present on it. Axons, generally if you see the neuron student, you find that only one axon is present in one cell, in one nerve cells, okay, or in one neuron, while if you see the dendrites, a lot of a dendrites comes out from that of the cell body. Okay, so we can say that generally one axon is present in a nerve cell, while a lot of a dendrite or many dendrites will comes out from the cell body. Ribosomes, you know that in axon there is no ribosomes present in it, but dendrite it is consisting of a ribosome, which is also known as a Nissl granules are present in it. Okay. So we can say that Nissl granules as well as the neurofibrils both are present in that of the dendrite, while in case of an axon, Nissl granules are absent, although neurofibrils they are present. Okay, so Nissl granules are absent in axon, while in dendrite it is present. Next one, axon is having a myelin sheath. So it is covered with a sheath. It is always covered with a sheath, which is like that of the medullary sheath. Okay, so it is having myelin sheath. But in case of a dendrite, there is no sheath is present on it. So we can say that sheath is absent on dendrite. So no myelin insulation is there in case of a dendrites. Branches further from the cell body, branches near the cell body. So you see the axons are also branches, shows the branching, but these branching occur at the terminal. Okay, that's why we use the term axon terminal. Okay, and these terminals basically away from that of the cell body. So we can say that here the branching occur in case of an axon, but that branches it occurs farther from that of the cell body. But here in case of a dendrite student, you know that dendrite is a short process which comes out from the cell body and finally it branches. So we can say that the dendrites it branches, but that branching occur near the cyton, near the cell body. Here it takes away, okay, at the terminal. So the branching it farther from the cell body, here branching near the cell body. So these are the difference between of the axon and that of a dendrites.